Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Now here we are today in more of the central sort of part of Fat Cow Farm here, and what we had found is that one of our sheep, boom, got through the old fence. So it was old. It was still one of the original fences that was here at Fat Cow Farm. So it's now time to put up a new fence. Now you can see where I've cleared and mulched. You know, we're not going too far. We're probably going about 200 meters just beyond the cows there. So I've had the flail mower in and cleared up as much as I possibly can. I've removed the old fence, which is there. You can see all in a big ball. So that's ready for the scrap yard. And as a part of changing the new fence, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity now to start putting in gates and things like that where you want them for access and things like that. So what we had found as a part of the old system, we were a little bit restricted in access into different paddocks and things like that. So now what we're going to be doing is putting in basically in every corner another gate. So that we've got then quick access into different paddocks and we can move the cows around and make life really easy for everyone. So this section here, I'm going to have a gate, and then we'll run up our mesh, and I'll have a couple of extra gates up at the far end. So back to Rotech Rural, here we go, mate. So we've got our DriveTight system. I've already put these in and put the star pickets at the base, so they're all in, ready to go. I've got to set up this stay here for this corner post, because this is where we'll attach our mesh, and then we're going to attach the un-coiler onto the back of the tractor, and we'll run our mesh all the way through. So what we need to do is that I've already marked out where my star pickets are going to be going. I've got all that marked out with blue paint. So I'll run a bottom tension wire all the way through, and then I'll come and put my star pickets on. Then I can unroll my mesh, put a top strainer on, and what we're going to be doing is only one hot wire at the top, running straight through the top. But we're a bit lucky here, is that on this particular fence line, we have some old galvanized posts. So I'm just going to be using those as supports for the fence. And then what I'll do is I'll then dock them down to the height that we want. You know, maybe about 100 mil or so above the top electric wire. Cut them off, put a new cap on, and they're all secure and ready to go. So firstly, I've got to put this stay up, and as this is a corner post, and we can go from there. So I've got a bit of work ahead of me. I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are up the other end of this paddock now that we're going to put the new fence through. So as you can see, I've already got my stays in at this end here, and it'll be running back down to where our original stay was. And I'm going to put two gates here. I've got one here and one here, and this post will have another stay coming through, and then what I'm going to do is actually split this paddock that we're in now in half. So this will be another fence line running through here in the future. But in saying that, I was a little bit clever this time, because I sort of a little bit didn't quite think things through originally when we've done another fence before. And as you can see down here, I put this water trough in yesterday, that one down there. And so what we thought the process was is that, because remembering through previous videos, I've got my main irrigation line running through this paddock, and so what I wanted to do was make sure that we actually ran our tail through before we put up the fence. So everything was then nice and secure. So that's where we are. We've got the water trough in now, and we can now continue on with our fence. So what I'm going to do now is just with my wire here, I'm just going to run high tensile wire. I'm just going to run a bottom strainer through, and then I'll start putting some star pickets up, and that will give me my true line. All right, so again, a little bit more work to do, but I'll come and find you, and I'll be down that end, and then I'll start bringing my pickets through, and away we go. So I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are. We've now got our bottom strainer wire in, which is now giving us a direct line between corner post to corner post, which then enables me to put my star pickets in. And as you can see, I'd already come through this morning and marked out the spaces that I wanted. Now typically here, fairly flat ground, so I'm running it around about 4 meters a picket. We've done that pretty much everywhere, except where we're really going uphill. We reduce that to maybe 2.5, 3 meters. But look, in saying that, the fences are staying up really tight, and that's really what we're after, just to keep everyone contained. So, star picket will now sit on that blue line with the face of it onto the strainer wire at the bottom, and we can get this one in. So that will ensure that I will then have a straight fence. Pretty cool. So, all right, so I think we've got about 30 or so to put in. So I'll get this all set up. I'll show you what it looks like afterwards, and I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so I've got the star pickets in, and you can see our line running up through. Now this, you can now see where these original galvanized pipe posts are in, and to the height of the picket, you know, so we'll have our hot wire running through about here somewhere, and then I'll just dock these ones off. These caps are welded on, so we'll just get some new caps and put on top. Then it's all the same height then, and then that makes it look all sweet. We'll have to manipulate a little bit with these posts. They're not quite, yeah, they're a fair bit out. So what we'll do is we'll just get the tractor and persuade those a little bit and get them nice and plump. And we're ready for mesh now. So what I'm going to do is do a changeover on the tractor to the mesh uncoiler. We'll tie that up. We'll run it straight through. We'll get all that clipped up. We'll put the top strainer wire through and the hot wire on top, the electric wire on top. And we're pretty much all squared for the day. So we'll get this done today, easy. It's just gone 12 o'clock, so all sweet. And you can see Mads is there with Marley, and Mo's underneath eating all the fur. You should be saving that fur for my hat, Mads. Hey, kids these days, eh? Yeah, just terrible. We could have 100 felt hats with what she's collecting now. But anyway, I'll come and find you. We'll get the uncoiler on the tractor and we'll go from there. I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are. We've got the uncoiler hooked up to the back of the tractor here. Now we've learnt our lesson. We're only running 200 meter coils, because I mean last time when we did a 300, it was just too hard. But in saying that, I'm now tied off to my corner post, and I'm going to start heading my way back down the fence line now, and where we've got the next gate, I'm going to swing myself in, and then we're going to put the brake on the mesh, and then use the tractor to tension the mesh itself, and then once we've got that all squared away, I'll come through and we'll have another top strainer go through, and our hot wire as we discussed, and we go. So I'm going to start the tractor. Come and follow me, because this thing is an absolute gem. It saves so much time, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you soon. right, so there's 5 minutes. You can see, like, nothing's tied up, and all I've done is I've put the brake on the mesh, which is still attached to the tractor, and that's super tight. You don't want it amazingly tight, you want a little bit of give, all right? So in case kangaroos and deer or whatever it may be, cattle, goats, sheep, they rub themselves on it, there's a little bit of flexibility in there. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is tie off the far end. I'm happy with this. We'll run our top straighter wire, and then we'll start twitching the mesh to the star pickets. All right, so we've got a little bit of mucking around to do, fiddly stuff, and we'll show you what that's all about. But mate, it's all happening at Fat Cow Farm. I love it, I love it. It's all right, I'll go tie this off. I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. Alrighty, so we've got our mesh up and our top strainer is in. So these two are going to get linked together, the same as the bottom rung of the mesh and the tension wire down below. Now, what we do here at Fat Cow Farm, I suppose might be a little bit old traditional or anything else, but we actually hand twitch the mesh onto the star pickets. So all we've got here is through trial and error, we've found that medium tensile wire, 2.5 mil, is sort of the easiest to work with. We fold it in half like a big pin, and the way that the star pickets are set up, so this is sitting at the top of the mesh, that just runs through, and we run one over the top and one over the bottom. Now at this point, we can now hand twist one side so it locks, and then with your twitcher, we're just coming straight over the top, like so. We do the same on the other side. That gets twitched on. We do the middle and we do the bottom. So each post has 3 twitches running all the way down it. And then that becomes a part of the structural strength of the fence. And then I'll show you later that we then clip, I don't know, maybe about every 3 or 4 squares, the top wire to the top of the mesh, clip, 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 like so. And again, we do it on the bottom. And again, another structural element as a part of the fence. Pretty simple, I love it, you know. And like I said, we've used this everywhere, and wow, you know, and it's holding up. I see things running into it all the time, and I go over and have a look, never an issue. So we're sticking to this system and it's working for us. So, you know, what have we got? 30 odd pickets. So we got, you know, just under 90, exactly 90 twitches to go all the way through here. And I'll run then the top hot wire, and so that'll sit through this hole here. There will be a plastic isolator sitting here, and then that'll come through. And if we then choose, we don't normally turn that on here, but if we then need to, we can then electrify this fence, and it's high enough that what we're finding is for the maintenance of the grass. So, you know, if you look, you know, oh, it's hard to say, but you know, this grass in here was quite high, and in some spots, you know, it does get higher than the fence, and it becomes a fire issue. You constantly have to, you know, come around and clean your fences, which you should do anyway. But you know, we've got so much infrastructure and stuff going on here. Just pure maintenance is a bit of a luxury here at Fat Cow Farm. It's flat knacker. Let's get all the infrastructure in first. So yeah, so we've decided to go up the top if we need to. So, and then we can just flick the switch, and we just use a solar energizer for that top wire. So all good. Well, I've got a lot more twitching to do. I'll get this squared away. I'll come and find you. So I'll see you soon. All right, so check this out. We've got our hot wire in place. We've twitched off all our mesh and strainer wires, top and bottom, to the star pickets. And you can see, you know, like there's a lot of strength in there, a heap of strength. So the only thing that we really need to do now is that you can see on the tops of these, of the mesh, they've got these divots. And in between these divots is where the crimp off. Now, I've used these in the building industry 1,000 times. Now these are just, I think they're called Avery clips. I'm not sure if you can pick that up there, you know, something like that. And so they're just a stainless, and you've got a little crimper. The only drama is you have to preload one at a time. And normally what I do is I just count for the bays. I go 1, 2, 3, and crimp. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that should get me to the end. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it's 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and what happens now is that the top strainer and the top of the mesh have effectively become one for extra strength. And especially for the bottom ones, wombats and stuff like that, they can't punch through all the time. They actually have to start digging, which is enabling us then to manage that issue. So we've got time. So there we go. What have we got? We've got just under 200 meters of fencing mesh, all strung up, ready to rock and roll. The only thing I've got to do tomorrow is I'll hang these 3 gates, and away we go, mate. So all about your mesh fencing around the farm and and I've got to say, all these star pickets too. You might say, oh geez, they're a bit rusty, what's going on there? These have all been reclaimed from older fences around the property that we've removed, and ones that were dangerous. So we've just kept all the good ones, and so we're doing a bit of a repurpose here. So saves us all a little bit of cash at the end of the day, and all the busted ones and bent ones and things like that, I then chop them up and I use them for the 900 diagonal star pickets going into the end posts for our DriveTight system from Rotech. So everything's used here at Fat Cow Farm. I tell you what, I'm glad that the previous owner had little stashes of stuff everywhere that we've found along the way. But look, fencing done, all complete in a day, thanks to some helpers and everything else. So it's all gone really well. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.